At 3 a.m. on September 13, 1998, a 15-year-old boy typed a single command into his bedroom computer. Within minutes, NASA's network buckled. He wasn't a spy. He wasn't a soldier. He was a kid in pajamas who had just proven that the world's most powerful institutions could be humbled by a child with a keyboard and too much free time. This is the story of 5 teenagers who didn't just break rules. They broke corporations. Billion-dollar companies with armies of security experts fell to kids who should have been worrying about homework. Today we uncover how they did it, why they got caught, and what happened when the full weight of the law landed on bedrooms that still smelled like teenage angst. Meet Jonathan James, the boy who hacked NASA. Using nothing but a dial-up connection and self-taught skills, he infiltrated the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, intercepting thousands of sensitive messages. Then he turned to NASA, stealing software controlling the International Space Station's life support systems. NASA was forced to shut down its network for 3 full weeks, costing taxpayers over $41,000. James was caught in 2000, becoming the first juvenile incarcerated for cybercrime in the United States. He served 6 months. But the story doesn't end there. Years later, when investigators linked his old handle to a massive retail data breach he had nothing to do with, the pressure became unbearable. In 2008, Jonathan James took his own life, insisting his innocence until the very end. Next, the hacker who took down the internet itself, even if just for a moment. In February 2000, a 15-year-old Canadian known online as Mafia Boy launched a devastating attack. His target list read like a Fortune 500 roll call: Yahoo, Amazon, eBay, CNN. One by one, these giants went dark, unable to serve a single customer. The financial damage was staggering, over $1.2 billion in losses worldwide. Stock prices dipped, executives panicked. The FBI launched one of its largest cybercrime investigations in history. And at the center of this global chaos sat a teenager bragging about his exploits in an online chat room, not realizing investigators were reading every single word he typed. Mafia Boy was arrested in April 2000. Because he was a minor, he served just 8 months in youth detention. Today, he works as a security consultant, using his knowledge to defend the very kind of systems he once destroyed. A billion-dollar lesson learned from a kid who simply wanted to prove he was the best hacker online. Our third story takes us to 2011 and a hacking collective partly led by teenagers calling themselves LulzSec. Among them was 17-year-old Jake Davis, operating under the alias Topiary. LulzSec didn't just breach companies. They humiliated them publicly, defacing websites and leaking data while taunting corporations on social media for the entire world to watch. They breached Sony Pictures, exposing over 1 million user accounts. They hit the CIA's public website, knocking it offline in an act of pure audacity. They attacked News Corporation, PBS, and Nintendo. Each attack wasn't just about money. It was theater. A performance designed to prove that no institution, however powerful, was truly secure. The FBI eventually infiltrated their own chat rooms, flipping a member into an informant. One by one, LulzSec's members were identified and arrested. Jake Davis, the teenage voice of Topiary, was sentenced to 2 years, suspended due to his age. The group that mocked global powers online was ultimately undone by trust, misplaced in a stranger's screen name. Our 4th teenager needed no crew at all. In 2015, 19-year-old Cain Gamble, from his bedroom in the English countryside, impersonated the director of the CIA using nothing but social engineering and patience. He gained access to sensitive government networks, exposing personal information of top intelligence and law enforcement officials across the United States. Gamble didn't stop at data theft. He harassed officials directly, sending threatening messages and even ordering pizzas to their homes just to prove he knew where they lived. British authorities eventually traced the intrusion back to his home. In 2018, he was sentenced to 2 years in youth detention, a shockingly light punishment for breaching the highest levels of American intelligence. Our final case is perhaps the most audacious. In July 2020, a 17-year-old from Florida named Graham Clark orchestrated one of the largest Twitter hacks in history. He and his associates gained access to internal admin tools, hijacking the verified accounts of Barack Obama, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Apple in a single coordinated afternoon. The hijacked accounts posted an identical message, "Send Bitcoin," and received double the amount back. Within hours, over $100,000 poured in from panicked, hopeful users worldwide. Twitter's stock dropped instantly. The company was forced to lock down every verified account on the platform simultaneously, an unprecedented shutdown never seen before or since. Investigators traced the breach back to Clark within days, aided by cryptocurrency transactions that were far easier to track than he assumed. He pled guilty to fraud charges and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. A teenager with a laptop had briefly controlled the voice of the world's most powerful people and cost a global company its credibility overnight. 5 teenagers, 5 bedrooms, billions in damages, and reputation shattered overnight. Their stories reveal an uncomfortable truth. Our most trusted institutions often rest on fragile foundations, vulnerable to anyone patient enough to find the cracks. So the question remains, as you sit reading this on your own device, how secure do you really think you are? Subscribe and stay vigilant.